on here. Now, one of the stories that I planned on talking about later, we'll get to it right now because I think it's an interesting story and I think we should have some conversation about it. It comes out of Philadephia, the land of the cheesesteak and the tasty cake and just right there in the meat of the Delaware Valley, because we will throw some salt on the 76ers. Now, my friends in Philadelphia, they love me. They have. We've got to get on there at some point. But I got to tell you, we have a lot of listeners on satellite radio and whatnot in Philadelphia. The 76ers are handing out money like it is going out of style. You got to get rid of this because no one's going to buy it next week. So the money train, choo-choo, continuing in the NBA. If you've not heard the latest on the Sixers, maybe you've not, we have learned that Philly has offered Ben Simmons a 5-year, $170 million max contract extension. The same Ben Simmons who is offensively challenged. Now, his agent, Rich Paul, the notorious Rich Paul, who's working as the de facto general manager of the Lakers, Rich Paul expected to eventually give his blessing to Ben Simmons to sign the agreement. My advice to Rich Paul is to attempt to get whiplash and sign the contract before Philadelphia pulls it back. The Sixers and Simmons have until mid-October. I know you're very concerned about the personal finances of an NBA player named Ben Simmons, an Aussie. Very concerned about that, but they've got till mid-October to finalize the deal. Now, Philadelphia, they are just making it rain on everybody. Joel Embiid's got a big contract. Tobias Harris, Al Horford just signed, along with Tobias Harris, long-term big money contracts. But this is about Little Ben. I'm Big Ben. He's Little Ben. So let's discuss. All right, so we have anointed you the Sixers owner. You didn't want to be the Sixers owner. You probably like some other NBA team and maybe even like the basketball in general. But guess what? You are now Mr. Big Shot. You're the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers. You got that private jet. You got the country club. You got the bling-bling and all that. Go out to Vegas, the Bahamas, wherever. You've got the power. So the question, as the old commercial goes, I loved this marketing campaign back in the day when I was a kid. You make the call on Ben Simmons getting a $170 million max contract, which it appears we're headed that direction. Now, it ain't my money, but I'm, for the purpose of this, pretending to be the Sixers owner. The idea that Ben Simmons could get a $170 million max contract, you know what the word is? Irresponsible is the word. Irresponsible is the proper word for this. And I don't know that there's any other word that applies other than that. All right, so I've got in this, we've got liability, we've got Kardashian, and in addition to that, we also have lollygag. Those three things, we'll put them all together, and we will make a giant 7-foot-long cheesesteak is what we're going to do. That's how we're going to do this. Now, number one, Ben Simmons. Number one. We have said this for the last couple of years. There is no reason to think different. He is a flawed player. Now, no one is perfect. We understand. No one is perfect. But let's keep things in the proper perspective here. Every man, woman, and child that has ever even looked at a basketball one time knows that Ben Simmons is completely useless as a shooter. And I realize that you don't have to be a complete player to get a max contract, but if you give the Sixers front office some truth serum, they would admit this. They would say, this guy's a bad offensive player. Simmons is the guy who can't shoot straight. We saw it time and again in the playoffs this year for Philadelphia. They came up lame against Toronto. He's got a hole in his ozone layer. There's a hole there. And it's not because of global warming or chemicals from big business and all that. No, he's got a hole in his ozone layer, and his outside shot is so out of whack. How out of whack is it? Thanks for asking. I appreciate that. Ben Simmons is a liability in playoff basketball. You can get by in the regular season. He can dazzle people because he gets a lot of layups and all that. You can skate by during the regular season. But deeper into the postseason, you are exposed with your pants down. So I hope you have some underwear on. Philadelphia was regularly shorthanded on offense. Opponents, most of the playoffs, when you get a little deeper in the play, were on the power play. They were on the power play defensively, meaning that you did not have to even pretend, even play make-believe and guard Ben Simmons unless he was in the painted area. Now, what is my evidence on this? If we go to the stat sheet, Ben Simmons, this is a mind-boggling. What I'm about to tell you is going to blow you away. I can't believe I heard this. I got to go back and listen again on the podcast. I can't believe this. Ben Simmons, last season for Philadelphia, shot 70% at the rim. Layups and dunks. Now, expect that, right? 70%, you're right at the basket. Now, from 3 to 10 feet, so 3 feet out of the rim and up to 10 feet, Ben Simmons shot 42%, which isn't very good. Any shot Ben Simmons took outside of 10 feet, you know what he shot for Philadelphia last year? Take a guess. This is a professional basketball player at the highest level who is possibly going to get a max contract. I mean, the Sixers are contemplating giving him a max contract. So the question is, what did he shoot? He shot less than 24% from outside of 10 feet. Wowzer. 23.8%. 23.8% Ben Simmons shot from 10 feet all the way to half court and beyond. And that's the guy you're gonna give a max contract to? Now, the second thing here, the Simmons story is a cautionary tale, right? It is also a case study on how NBA teams suffer from paranoia. And it costs them a lot of money. It's poor management. We see this all the time. Tobias Harris is getting paid a ridiculous amount of money. Again, it's not my money. They can afford it. But Philadelphia, you know what's going on here? These guys who run the Sixers are so fearful that some kind of wormhole is going to open up underneath the arena, and Ben Simmons is going to fall through that, be dropped through the wormhole, and end up in Los Angeles or Miami or somewhere else other than the Sixers, and they are going to fix this problem by tossing money on the barbecue, is what they're going to do. Make sure there's enough propane and put some money in what's burning. Now, on Ben Simmons' side of things, this is a good lesson, and you can teach this lesson. It works in athletics, but I believe it works elsewhere. The key to achieving anything in life is confidence. Ben Simmons, you watch him play, he looks the part. He carries himself with good body language. He checks all the boxes of being a star. He's dated a Kardashian relative, right? He's got that going for him. I don't think he's doing that anymore. The line, faking it till you make it, that model applies here. Ben Simmons has got the swagger without the jumper. He's got that, right? He's an all-star. Okay. Yeah. I want a guy that can make an outside shot. That's what I want. Call me crazy. I know that's blasphemy, but that's what I want. Now, the final point here as we chat on the Ben Maller Show on Fox. So I am in charge of the Sixers. Here's my move. We'll sum it up like this. All right, give you the thumbnail version. The move here is to slow play Ben Simmons. There's no need to rush into this, and you procrastinate. Procrastination is Philly's friend. You lollygag. You lollygag around. Give Ben Simmons an opportunity to actually put in some sweat equity in the offseason and improve his shot and show that actually carries over to the regular season. There were a lot of wonderful stories written behind paywalls last year about how Ben Simmons was spending time in the gym and he was going to learn how to shoot from the outside. It was all BS. It was just nonsense, fluffery. Did not happen. Did not happen at all. There's no need to rush into this if you're the Sixers. You act like the adult in the room. Now, if Ben Simmons' perimeter shot is unsalvageable, you say, arrivederci, get out of here, see you later, go back to Australia or go somewhere else, but we don't want you. Now, if he does improve his shot, then you say, all right, we'll give you the max, right? You don't give him the deal, you make him earn the deal. He hadn't earned the contract yet, and I would not be opposed to trading Ben Simmons. I don't think it's off the table that the Sixers should be trading him. In fact, I would say that it's much more probable that Simmons should be trade fodder as opposed to someone you give a max contract to. I don't want guys that are playing a guard position who are shooting 24% from outside 10 feet. I don't want those guys on my team. They're useless in the playoffs. They are. All right, so the Ben Maller Show on Fox. We say hello to Edmund, Dallas, Steamboat Willie, Judas, Solid Gold. Corporate, which means he's off for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Judas, 9 to 5, whatever, Garcia. Jar Jar, I think.
Now, are you of the opinion that either as a basketball player, you have the skill of being a shooter or not? Or is this something you think that a player, if they put in the proper work, can greatly improve their skill in that area?
So this is the chicken and egg argument of basketball, right? Is it the chicken or the egg? That I believe you know how to shoot by the time you get to the NBA. Just like in baseball, if you don't know how to hit a curveball by the time you reach the major leagues, you're not going to learn how to hit a curveball.
It's possible to improve, but not significantly.
Yes, there are very few examples of players that have improved.
I agree with that.
Karl Malone is one. For the Utah Jazz, when he first came in, he wasn't a great outside shooter. He became a pretty good outside shooter. Some people say Jason Kidd, but I never thought of him as
Jason Kidd couldn't shoot, man. He couldn't make a three.
never thought of him as a great outside. He was a little better, but he was so bad when he started, people made a big deal about it.
Right, he never got great, but he wasn't god-awful.
They used to call him Asen because he had no J.
Whatever happened to that little kid that Kid had? Remember the kid that was the star of those news conferences?
His head was as big as
dad's
head.
Yeah, he had a lemon head.
God, he had a giant
head.
head.
A lemon head. Whatever happened to that? Like, what happened
He's
to that
probably
kid?
in college now, Ben.
Oh, I know.
You know?
Oh, my God.
He was in college back then.
He looked like the
them
kid from Family Guy. Stewie. He looked like Stewie from Family Guy. I think Stewie was based off Jason Kidd's kid, but we can say that now because, as Eddie said, he's probably grown up, so we're good.